May peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon all of you. I have written a 16-page academic paper on the theme Sayyid Maududi's thoughts on violence and revolution, and it would be a lie if I say I am going to present this paper in 5 minutes. So what I am going to do in 5 minutes is just introducing the paper and requesting you that when you will be circulated this paper, please read this. Just going into the introduction of Maulana Maududi and his contributions, I would like to say that a rope is very useful, but if we consider the rope as a snake, then we will not use the rope. This is what has happened with Maulana Maududi in academic circles, because if the academic circles, social sciences, political sciences, and other sciences take Maulana Maududi seriously, they will grow several inner insights into the topics of social sciences and political sciences, especially in the critique of the West. What we have in the name of critiques of the West is just the Marxian theory, and if we consider Maulana Maududi as seriously and take his critiques seriously, we will develop an alternative. We will be able to develop an alternative critique of the West and Western theories. So this is a just introduction. Before coming on the theme of violence and revolution, I would like to define the term, because several disputes arise on the conflicting definitions. What I consider by revolution is not just a political change. It's not displacement of powers. It is basic transformation of a society's political, social, economic, and ideological structures. It's an overall change. Some incomplete changes can be political, it can be a revolution kind of thing, it can be a rebellion kind of thing, it can be a resistant movement, it can pass, it can fail, it can succeed, whatever. But if a complete social change, political change, economic change, and ideological change and cultural change comes, it is a true revolution, and I am referring to revolution on that particular occasion. Likewise, what is violence? There are several definitions of violence as well, and I have discussed those in the paper. But for the simplification, I refer to bloodshed, number one, and coercion as violence, and I am referring to these things. So, by revolution, we mean society's fundamental changes in a society's political, social, economic, and ideological structures, and by violence, we mean bloodshed and coercion. And by linking these terms, the basic and core question that we are arriving at is violence justified in order to bring revolution, and what is the Maulana Maududi's response on that theme? Just recapping Maulana Maududi's ideology is that Islam is not merely a traditional religion or a set of rituals, it is also a way of life and an ideology. Again, a very important point made by Maududi, Islam is not what Muslims do, but is itself a set of principles, usul, what he refers to as. And by this, Maududi argues the core theme in over 100 books that he written is that Maududi insists on the establishment of divine rule on earth. The terminology he uses is Iqamat-e-Deen, and presents the same as the universal solution of every problem that humanity faces. So, we have a deen, a way of life, Islam, and we have to implement that, revolutionize the system of earth on the basis of that religion, that universal solution that Maulana Maududi says is Islam. How come that change materializes on the earth? What is the way through which we bring this change to the world that Maududi considers as universal solution? There can be an option of violent revolution, there can be option of underground movement. What he says about these options? He says an absolutely and flat no to underground movement, to conspiracy theories, to violence and all the things. So how he is going to bring that revolution, that Islamic revolution to the world that he so advocates? Maududi argues for an enduring revolution. The terms he uses is Payadar Inqalab. I am quoting him from one of his speeches that he delivered on March 16, 1968. He said, "The way through which we would like to bring Islamic system is the way of public opinion, implying that we go ahead through awakening and leveling of public opinion in favor of Islam. Our way is not the way of violence and conspiracy. This stand of ours is well thought out. An enduring revolution comes naturally and gradually. This is the reason for our support of democracy." He delivered a speech in Aligarh Muslim University, Stretchy Hall on 12 September 1940, entitled Process of Islamic Revolution. In that paper, he discuss the theme of Islamic revolution, discuss the theme of Islamic state, what it means, and how can such a revolution be brought out. 1940, if you remember, is a time where Hindu and Muslim communalism were on its peak and freedom fighters were fighting for some kind of alternative. What kind of India will emerge in the future? Will be a united India? Will be a divided India? India, Pakistan, and all these debates are there. And in that particular debate, Maulana Maududi intervenes and presents a methodology of Islamic revolution that he considers. And how Islamic State emerges, he says, I am quoting him again. As I have pointed out in the beginning, I am quoting him, Maulana Maududi, the ideological, moral and cultural conditions existing in all society bring forth by their interplay the type of state suited to them. It is not possible that a tree may shape as a lemon from its rudimentary stages right up to the stage of its completion, but when it reaches the state of fruition, it should all of a sudden begin producing mangoes. The Islamic State does not start into being all of a sudden like a miracle. It is inevitable for its creation that in the beginning there should grow up a movement having for its basis that view of life, that ideal of existence, that standard of morality, and that character and spirit which is in keeping with the fundamentals of Islam. Its leaders and workers should be men who are psychologically and spiritually fit to accept that particular mold of character. They should then, by their ceaseless efforts, create the same mental attitude and moral spirit in their society. On the basis of the moral and intellectual tendencies so created, there should rise a system of education to train and mold the masses in the Islamic pattern of life. And this goes on and on till the tribulations and adversities comes, and the movement that is so trained with the Islamic ideals face that atrocities and the sympathies created in the public mind and psychology, and then when these sympathies turn into ideological affiliation, then an Islamic revolution should be brought up and come. In short, the revolution, no revolution is spontaneous. What Maulana Maududi argues is that for any revolution that comes through force can go away with force. And so a revolution that should come naturally should evolve gradually, and a revolution can come when pre-revolutionary order obsoletes and loses its relevance, and a social and political environment is created in favor of another ideology. And third, an alternative ideology starts gaining wider acceptance, and its persecution only makes it more popular and evokes sympathy for those persecuted among the masses. So this is the process. I would like to end and conclude my talk on the theme of Maulana Maududi's view on violence and revolution by again quoting him from a speech that he delivered on 10th May 1963. In that speech that he delivered in Mecca, he was directly asked his suggestions about the future of Islamic movement, what we should do to bring Islamic revolution and other things, and people meant various things in that thing. But Maulana Maududi's last advice that he gave in, and I'm quoting him, my last advice to the workers of the Islamic movement is that they should refrain from running underground movements or bring Islamic revolution through arms. This is in fact a kind of impatience and hastiness, and in terms of results more detrimental than the rest. A true revolution always comes through popular movements. So, what is his suggestion? Spread your dawah openly, reform the minds and thoughts of the people, change their views, conquer the hearts through moral weapons, and in this endeavor, whatever dangers and tribulations befell, face them manly. The revolution that comes in this gradual way will be so strong and enduring that storms of hostile forces would not be able to obliterate it. Even if a revolution is brought in haste through artificial means, then it will destroy it the same way through which it was brought in the first place. So I'd conclude here, hope that the academic circles that have done injustice, especially in India, to Maulana Maududi for last 50 years would not be, the future would not be the same in social sciences and political sciences from now on. That's all. Khuda Hafiz.